All right, this is gonna be cool because I get to just be up here and be a fan because I love all of y'all work. So I got some fastballs for y'all. I got some stuff I just want to know so I could put it in my toolbox as a director. So I want to start off just to get you guys warmed up a little bit. I just want to start off by saying, like, what was that one oh shit moment where you were behind the camera and you were like, this is my life, wow. Anybody could start.
For me, it was with, probably with LL Cool J, because I was just such a huge fan of Todd. We call him Todd. And we were shooting a video in Hawaii with Gabrielle Union and A. Marie. It was called Paradise. And it was crazy because we had gotten there like 2 days before to scout. It was in Maui. And he was arriving when Jam Master Jay passed, was killed. So he hadn't, this is before you can get of course we were getting texts and stuff, but he hadn't gotten it. So when he landed, the whole thing was, who's going to tell him this? And I remember being outside the room when he pulled up, and no one had told him yet. And so it was like, oh, man, how am I going to be the one to have a conversation with LL about Jam Master Jay being killed? And so in that moment, it was all of hip-hop just rushed through me in that moment of being a kid in high school and, and everything and like that. And so that moment really, for me, like, put me right front and center at that time. And his grandmother had just passed. And if everybody knows about LL, he revered her so much. So those two things happened in this, like, a day or two apart or a few days apart. So that for me was a big moment for me, which really made me go, wow, I'm really doing this. Like, I'm in it. Yeah.
That's great.
That's crazy.
For me, I'll just say, film for me wasn't something I thought I was going to be even doing. I'm self-taught. I didn't go to film school. I didn't do really anything film-based in my life. I was an artist, straight, like street artist. But I say the one moment where I thought this was a reality when we did the first film with Nas, right? And we weren't sure how to make the film. We were really just ad-libbing, experimenting. But I missed the deadline to Tribeca. But I had a friend there. I was like, hey, just take a look at this rough cut. All we wanted it was to air once. But that led to, hold on, we're sending this to a bunch of other execs here. That led to, where are you? And I was like, we're in a little studio, makeshift spot here in the city. That led to, we think this could be the opening night film at the Tribeca Film Festival. But that wasn't even the moment. So real quick, salute to Eric Parker, my boy on that. But I think the moment was we did red carpet, we did all this stuff, and I'm like thrown backstage, and they're like, hey, we're gonna have Jane, the head of the Tribeca Film Festival, Jane Rosenthal, shout out to her, to introduce you, and Bob. I was like, who's Bob? And then up comes Robert De Niro, right? I was like, oh, what's up, Bob? I was like, but in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay. And so I just asked him basically, hey, what advice, anything? I'm sure he gets this all the time, but he's like, there's no advice, man. You're standing here and you're doing it. Just keep going, right? So at that moment, I was like, okay, this is what it means to be a filmmaker, right? So we just went full throttle, man. Like no doubt, no questions, no compromising. I mean, look, man, when you know you're built to do something, you just go full throttle. Like there's foot on the gas, be undeniable with your vision, and stick to it, and just feel like you can own this, right? So after that, got a call from John Singleton. We did a film called L.A. Burning, and the rest was history. So that's just my little quick story.
Love it. Love it. Robert De Niro will do that to you. Kev, what you got?
For me, is less one moment, and it's the general idea that I get to get paid to do this. And I'm serious because I'm from North Carolina, and from where I'm from, it's not really a reality that you get to go make art for a living. And it was around 2019 when I did The Rise and Fall of Van One. So that was my first check to as a filmmaker, out of
That's
film
part of
school.
Netflix Untold,
It's
correct?
Netflix Untold: The Rise and Fall of Van One, yes. And so that year, my wife, she quit her job, and ever since we've been kind of rolling together, just living this life as an artist. And for me, that is the oh shit, like I get to do this. I get to wake up every morning, and I don't have to go to a job I don't want to go to.
So that Netflix check came in, and you
Netflix
said,
check is
baby, go ahead and put that resignation.
Yeah, the Netflix check is nice for sure.
Don't even worry about the 2 weeks.
That part is crucial. Like, how do you survive doing this? I quit jobs. We went 6 months, 8 months. You don't got no checks. But your self-belief, you got to know that you can do this. I think that part is very real. And I'm sure all filmmakers or people in film out here. So that part is serious. How do you make money at this?
We're gonna get into the business of this in a second, but I wanna get into a little bit of, the reason I wanted to do a documentary and biopic is because I feel like when it's based on a true story, it just hits different, right? When you watch it and you're like, wait, that really happened? It hits different. So I want to start with you, One9. I know you chased this Nas project for a long time, and people don't understand in the documentary world. First of all, a celebrity will tell you to their face, yes, you can do my documentary, but until they're on set in front of your camera, it don't mean nothing, right? So talk about the chase and how hard you had to work to get Nas to even participate in Is Illmatic.
All right, so sometimes you don't really choose your path, it chooses you. But that being said, you got to manifest the work. You got to show and prove that you have value, right? So long story short, we did this months without Nas, right? So we did it with his father. We filmed all the crew around him. First-time filmmakers, right? So I had nothing to show him. So I said, look, we put a little trailer together, sent it to his manager, and he wasn't quite sure yet. So on top of this, I got a grant from the Ford Foundation, and he assumed that we had Nas, right? So, but I said, yeah, everything will happen, right? You just got to believe this shit. So in my mind, what we did, long story short, I told his manager, come see what we got, right? And I had, at that point, almost 2 hours of just rough cut scenes. I mean, I'm telling you, we were doing this full time, no income, right? It's just knowing that we had something, right? I felt we had something. So his manager came and shout out to Anthony Sly. He said, saw what we had. He watched 20 minutes and then text Nas. He was like, you got to see what they're doing. And sometimes you got to get out of your own way. And then that led to Nas coming. He said he only had about 15 minutes to show him something. So I showed him a rare scene that we found of his father's music when he was like 8. He was used to play it for Nas when he was 8. So he was like, man, where'd you find that? I was like, you don't have no idea what I'm about to show you. So I just started showing him scenes, and he canceled the rest of his day. That led to 5 hours. And then he got up, hugged us, and said, you're making art. I want to do this with you. And that's how that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Kevin, I want to go to you next. We mentioned the fact that this man is Oscar nominated, and he's Oscar nominated for a film called My Nephew Emmett, which is about Emmett Till. And when you go and tell a story like that, obviously it's been some time. Some of the family is not around to necessarily give you the okay and things like that. But just talk about the process of trying to tell a story about this family, such a traumatic moment, and trying to honor the family and not wanting anybody attached to the Till legacy to be looking at you crazy,
Right, yeah. I was really fortunate. My mother went to church with a woman who knew Emmett Till's cousin, who was president, the night he was abducted and murdered, Willa Parker Jr. So I ended up getting his phone number before I wrote the script and when I was in school. And we spoke on the phone about that night, and he shared some really personal accounts, and then he introduced me to other members of his family. including Erica Gordon Taylor, who's no longer with us, but she was in charge of his estate at the time and was raised by Mamie Till, Emmett's mother as well. And so they were with us during the process of making the film. And when I wrote the script, I shared it with them. And when I did cuts of the film, of the short, I shared it with them as well because I wanted them to be supportive of what we were doing, because the last thing I wanted to do, obviously, is exploit the story and make it appear that we're just telling this story because, you know, we want to, you know, for personal gain, you know, which, you know, is the challenge. You know, you want to be able to bring a story and tell it with truth and honesty and authenticity, and you want to do it in a way that really is a tool for change, you know, and that sparks, you know, really honest conversation. And sometimes that means digging deep into really hard parts of the story. And but they were down for the ride, you know, and I think they appreciated that. You know, we weren't just jumping out and doing it, you know, without them being a part of the process. So,
Well, I'm gonna get back to that process in a second, but Benny, you got to direct all of the biggest artists in the world, and when you direct music videos, it's a collaboration with the artist. You got to send them a treatment. You got to get approval. Now, to do the Tupac biopic, and this is an artist that people are very territorial about. You know, the West Coast don't play. You know, the Shakur name is like something that not anybody can just step into that world. So what kind of pressure did you feel having to put that story together?
Well, it's interesting because, so he had mentioned John. John was originally doing the movie. Well, actually, let me take you back. So Antoine was doing the movie originally. He still was a producer on the film by the time I got to direct. The producer, L.T. Hutton, of the movie was a music producer at Death Row Records. So he lived with Tupac. And so when he decided to get the story together, he got Afeni to okay it. They wrote a script. Antoine wrote a script, and then they rewrote a script. This went on for like, I would say 8 or 9 years or something like that. This is before I even ever had a conversation about it. So then John was the director of the film first, but it wasn't the script that he had written. It was someone else's script. And so he was kind of, you know, it happens. One thing that happens in the industry or the business is that when you have a strong voice and you have something to say, it doesn't matter sometimes how much you've done in the past or whatever. In that moment, if there's one roadblock, somebody will say, well, no, it has to be this. Then that's what happens. So that's kind of what happened with John in sort of a fight that he had. And so he left the movie. I knew the producer really well because we were working on another project altogether. And so he called me. Funny enough, he called me and said, and he's been talking to me about the movie for like 2 months. He's like, man, I'm just trying to get John on track. And you know John? I said, yeah, I know John. That's my man. He said, man, you know, I might want you to just come and sit with us and talk to him. Meanwhile, the whole time, he was trying to like position me in case John didn't do the movie. So John quit the movie. Funny enough, I was directing a video for Mac Wiles. For Mac, where's Mac? Where'd he go? Directing a video for him, I get the call, I want to say the night before. It was right around Thanksgiving, 2015. This was, man, that's crazy. It was 10 years ago. So we were doing, Mac is coming in. So Mac will remember this. So we did a video where he was playing Spike Lee in the video.
Love in the 90s.
Yeah. So we did that. We did that vid, and I don't know if Mac remembers, but I said, yo, I got the call to do the Pac movie, and you was, yeah. So I said, yo, nephew. I said, you're not gonna believe this. And I hadn't told anybody. I said, yo, I gotta tell you. He's like, what? I said, yo, they just called me to do the Pac movie, yo. He's like, what you mean? I'm like, yo, they want me to. He said, I thought somebody. I said, nah, they want me. It's crazy. So we shoot the video. I'm on a super high. He's on a high for me. Like, it was the whole thing, right? So anyway, so we go there. And so it's definitely challenging because I walked into it and everything was already laid out. They had already scouted and so much stuff was already going on. Mind you, Tupac is the most polarizing figure that we've ever seen, I think. I mean, there's love and hate for Pac. It's like really no middle ground with him. You know what I mean? Like some people go, oh, they might dispute his lyrics or his flow. That's New York saying that. But everywhere else in the world, they like, this is God. You know what I mean? Of MCing. Rock him and then Pac, right? So doing the film, you block all of that out. And then when you put the film out, you know that somebody's going to have this or that. I saw Ed Lover in the airport in Atlanta, and he goes, man, why you ain't put his wife in the movie? And I'm like, Ed, how many people know that Pac was married? All the women he had, like and you talking about the one woman that he married to? I said she wasn't part of the story. Our story was about a man. It was the cautionary tale that we were trying to tell to all of these young artists about the decisions that they make. And all black men, not just artists, about black men, decisions that they make. The decisions he made that put him in the car with Suge that night. That was the premise for the film. So certain things don't fit into that, in that story or into that narrative that you want to tell. That's just the way it is.
So it sounds like because of your experience leading up to that, you were kind of built to block out the outside world.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, if you're a filmmaker, you do what you do. You make the film that you want to make. Like I said, it depends on what level. First of all, I love the independent filmmaking part of it because you do what you want to do. And then by God's grace, you'll get the opportunity to do a studio film or something. And then it's at that moment when everybody's telling you what to do. And it's like, wait a minute. You just hired me because you liked what I did. Well, we like what you did, but we want to make sure that you're doing it the way that we want you to do it. And then you like, come on. I mean, let me ask, how many people seen Sinners out here? All right. So I went to the premiere, saw the movie. I couldn't even talk after. I was like, yo, this is crazy. And then go to the after party. So I run into Ryan and I talked to him for a second. He said, did you see the movie? I said, yeah, man, it was dope. You know, I said, you did the Tarantino on them. He's like, what you mean? I mean, like, because ain't nobody telling Tarantino how to make no movie, and you just did that. You did the movie that you wanted to make, as long as you wanted to make it, the people that you wanted into it, the narrative you wanted to tell, like, you did that, and they took a chance on that. That was the first movie. Now, mind you, of course, with Black Panther and all that other stuff, you have the studios just hanging over you, trying to tell you what to do. That's such a brilliant film because you see Fruitville Station, Ryan, in that movie. You know what I mean? Like, you see, oh, this is why we love to do, because of that. You know what I mean? So it's a different journey when you're doing such a big movie or a biopic and you have to be beholden to certain things and, you know, of the person's life.
Nah, that's crazy. Now, one of the things I want to ask.
I think that's a good point, though. Is how do you not compromise, right?
Yeah.
I think I love, even for you, man. Like, how do you not compromise your vision?
Man, let me tell you something. The reason y'all laughing, but the reason I say nah, that's crazy is because I could go so long on the politics of it all. I'll give you 2 to 3 quick little moments.
He's not lying, by the way. He's not lying. He's not lying.
When I was producing Dwayne Wade's doc, I was the first man on the ground. I was in a room with like 50 hard drives. I was like in this man's life, and we put together the pitch that sold it to ESPN. And then a very big production company came in, a white-owned production company came in, and then they're like, wait, we got 12 Oscars. Fall back. We got this. And they went and they messed up the film. And then they called me back later like, hey, can you fix this? So that was how it was. It was like every project that I've worked on with a major studio, which is why I say one for them, one for me. This one was one for me. And then I'll go work with HBO. I'll go work with, ESPN. Like you said, you quit the job off the Netflix check. So you got to do the work. Unfortunately, that's the sustainability factor of it. But yeah, there's a lot of politics when you're a person of color because you don't get final cut. So when you said Quentin Tarantino, like Ryan Coogler, maybe Spike, but Spike don't got the green light like Ryan got the green light.
No, but Spike is still very much independent.
Yeah.
You know? I mean,
He's still
not as a
raising-
recent, but
He's still
yeah.
raising the money himself.
He's still raising the
and
money himself.
asking people
Yeah.
to help and this, that. And
Yeah.
the filmmakers respect him, and that's how he gets
Yeah.
to go make these.
I mean, he laid the
projects.
blueprint for all of us to do it, from you know what I mean, from films to documentaries to, you know, like all
Kevin
of it.
was actually in Spike's class.
Yeah, I was a student of Spike, and he is
NYU?
at NYU. Yeah, and he is the most generous person that I've personally encountered in this business. You know, when I graduated, so that I wouldn't have to go out looking for work, he hired me at 40 Acres, you know, to do work with him, and he does. I'm not the only one.
No.
You know, he does that for several students and filmmakers. I'm not special. I think he's just really, you know, he understands what we have to go through just to do what we want to do and say what we want to say in the way that we want to say it without the interference that you're describing, you know. And so he's given so much to myself and a lot of young African-American filmmakers in the business, so I'm grateful for that, for sure.
Yeah. So they tell me that I'm running low on time, so I got some rapid fires because I got some that I can't sleep at night if I don't ask you all these questions. First, One9, you said Time Is Illmatic. That was your first film?
Yeah, that was the first film.
That's insane. How did you come up, insane. How did you come up with the concept of shooting everything? All the interviews were like profile. Like there was nothing, no wide, no straight on. Everything was like off center.
Well, for me, it's what I learned was before even directing, I was an editor. I taught myself editing, right? So I understood, really for me, the key to building scenes is building emotion. And how do you build emotion? You do it through the eyes, right? So if you can connect with the eyes, you got them, right? And I mean, like when it's a real emotional thing, not like performing for the camera. So it becomes a trust level with the talent for documentaries. You have to earn a trust level to understand. And then once they trust you, they forget the camera's there. But for me, I need the eyes, right? I see the eyes. I see your soul. I see the story. I see you reflecting. I see you going back. So it's important for me just from a visual perspective to connect, make sure I see that. Bit of a challenge. We just finished the Allen Iverson series. It's 3 parts. It's going to air on Amazon. Sorry, I got a little plug for that shit. That was, to me, it's going to be a very, very impactful, inspiring story, not just on basketball, but the family story. Now, Allen wears glasses, right, by choice, sunglasses. I mean, he keeps it low-key, very hard to get the trust level. But I think what we found with him is I built the trust with him before we rolled anything. Like, it was phone calls. It was FaceTime. He wants to feel your energy, right, to make sure. So my thing with him was to make sure that what you did on the court, when you left everything on the court, if you give me this on camera, we're going to make something epic, man. Like, trust me, when people see this shit, it's going to be different. It's different. But it's not the traditional sense. Allen's walking in and out of the camera. He's got to feel the room. He's got to feel the energy. So it's breaking all the walls. But that's how the mic was going, though. So you'll hear him and feel him, and he's going through emotions throughout this whole film, real emotional shit that him and his family went through. So in terms of get back to the point is, whether it was Nas in that film, they were open to connecting this way. Allen's got sunglasses a lot of times. He wears a hat. So it's the audio that you're going to connect with. You'll see him. You know, he goes through the highs and lows of this. But we had cameras, Snyder or somewhere in here. He was one of my DPs on it. Amazing job on shooting through the glasses, through the sides of. So you'll feel this thing. But it's difficult, man, when you're getting someone to really be vulnerable and be honest, man. So that's the hardest thing in docs, right? So it's like, how do you find the trust level? That's the most important thing. But the eyes is everything, really, you know.
Yeah, I wanted the Jungle interview from because I know Jungle really well,
Yeah,
and like
you know Jungle doesn't talk,
so
right? So
he don't talk. It's like that, getting him to be as vulnerable as he was amazing. Like, that was super amazing, and it's hard. Like, if you know the person and you see it, you're like, yo, he got homie to really, like, you know, because he doesn't like to talk.
that day started at 5 p.m. By the time we sat down with Jungle was 3 a.m. after a whole day hanging on the bench, going to the liquor store, like just vibing with him, the trust. So then by the time we sat there, he's like, all right, I'm ready.
Jungle's Nas's younger brother, so he always
Serious.
plays the background.
Listen, I appreciate all the gems you guys have dropped. I still have 20 questions left.
Sorry,
but I don't got time for it.
Come on, we got some time, man. Let's go. Let's hear from everybody.
We got other things to get to, and we ain't paying for overtime. SBA Theater.
It's the producer talking right
SBA
now.
Theater
Yeah, I
wants
ain't
that
mad at
check.
that.
So,
Any questions from the audience?
yeah, but I wish we had the time. I really do. Next year, no, I'm gonna have to get these gents back next year. We do it bigger and better. But I appreciate y'all time, first of all, because you guys are in the field, actively working all the time. And I really love and respect all of your work. And just the last question, one word. Y'all got time for one word. What is the one word you would give to inspire any filmmaker in the house?
Passion. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother. No.
Persistence.
Passion came in right there.
Like, that's all that's all you got is the passion.
Persistence,
Yeah.
passion,
Undeniable.
undeniable, and I'll just say, fuck it.
Hey, I want to thank you, though, man, for putting this whole thing together. Because
This is dope.
honestly, what you guys are building here is the future, is really be able to tell your own stories and have a platform for this, man. Because this is really important. That it's not just making the films, man. It's having the platform. It's having people who can greenlight it, people who understand the culture, people who are put in positions to build things like this. Really respect what you're doing. Please give it up for Greg and everybody else, what they're doing.
Shout out to the team surrounded by water.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Yep.